thank you for being on this is the New Year's Day podcast, New Year. And I haven't been up to Maine in a fucking year because I've been doing the New York thing. Like I said, I buy, even though I buy weed out there, I'm mostly like focused on the bags or like the marketing behind it, right? Because I don't grow the weed. I just try to buy what I can, you know? But like coming back up to Maine and seeing what is here is fucking bonkers, dude. And I thought I knew. I've been around. I mean, it's a year's not that long, you know, but, you know, doing this New Year's Day podcast, it's like, what a fucking year it's been. Just even looking at product and people coming back here. You know, this is the last, like when I was here a year ago, this is where I came to. Could we shout out where we are?
Yeah, we're in Sanford.
Say more specific. Yeah. But yeah, like coming out here, like seeing the product and seeing the hustle is dope. I like forgot.
Wait, what about it?
Maine's really fucking cool. And I think it's actually pretty similar to New York, where New York is just like this commerce playground, right? But what I think is similar to New York and Maine is the players. We're all in it, and we're all in the legal market. Like, this is the legal market, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like authentic. It feels cultured. Us in New York, it's the same thing. I saw it today. They did these like New Year's. I was like honored that I was on this list of like support the small businesses in New York. And it was me and 10 other farmers that I buy my weed from that are like us.
That's cool.
Right?
That's awesome.
And I was like, and in a way, you know me, my ass, I'm like, why the fuck am I on that? Like, take me off, you know? But that's my point. It's like, it's all the same.
How much did you pay to get on that list?
$0, dude. If anything, I just try to do shit like this. You know, it's actually, you're on the microphone a lot, you know, and you're an OG. Not too many people do it. Like this is probably the first podcast you've done, right?
I think the only other one I did was with Trav on his show.
Oh, right, and the fractal
We've
stuff.
done a couple.
Or no, the when you guys are talking about haze and piff and stuff like that.
I don't remember.
We did a grow along with the Holy Communion. We had one episode there. I did at least 2 with Kyle for Rooted Leaf. And then we did one where it was like the next generation of canna growers, remember? And you had some profound statements on that one. You're like, no, I didn't grow up getting chased by helicopters. I'm actually doing things out here, you know? Like, and you kind of brought up the point how, like, yes, there are like stripes and badges to wear and like from all that traumatic shit, but there's also a big value to have not gone through it. And like, I don't know if you remember that, but that was a really good episode. It was titled like The Next Generation. It had Elm. It had a Highland Nursery on it. You and one other young homie, I think. But that was a really, really good one.
I'm happy I said something that was valuable.
This podcast is brought to you by The Bakery in Cohoes, New York. This is one of my favorite dispensaries in New York. They have the best menu. We're proud to be on it. The best staff. Mike has become like a mentor to us out in New York, especially when it comes to upstate. Be on the lookout for podcasts and more collaborations that we're going to be doing together. The Bakery, upstate New York, in Albany Capital District in Cohoes, man, that's the spot. Breakfast Connections Dutch Master hats are available now on breakfastconnections.co. These things are dope, paying homage to our original Connecticut roots. We're not able to put tobacco on the blunts, but the whole reason we even did the blunts in the New York market was that we found this cone that was able to like taste the weed and have that good experience that we remember with the Dutch Masters. So that's why we're kind of paying homage with the Dutch Masters hats. We're in tons of dispensaries from in the Adirondacks out to Utica, Capital District down to the Bronx, and Misha's Flower Shop in Brooklyn. We're going to be expanding into the city a little bit more. We also have Living Soil grown indoor flower that's going to be under $40, I'm pretty sure. That's a steal. Some of the best weed in the New York market. I feel confident in saying that. Around $40, that's pretty good. Look out for those bags, Breakfast Connections 8th bags, Breakfast Connections blunts. We still got some of those more affordable 8ths of the outdoors from last season, but we wanted to ramp it up with some more Living Soil indoor grown flower. I think that's it. Back to the show. Real recognizes real in this game, gentlemen. And as I do like the New York thing, it's like I was so fucking scared out there in the beginning, not like intimidated, you know. But all I had to do was be myself, and I think it's not even a New York thing. I think it's a weed thing. Hit me. That's a gigantic blunt, my friend. That is fucking sick, dude. Shout out you.
Yeah, we don't play.
To write this. Yeah. What was I saying?
You were saying you were intimidated. Why were you intimidated?
I mean, I grew up in Connecticut, and like I don't know about you, Trav, but like you were a little bit heavier in the game than me. But back then, it was like if you're getting weed from New York or like any weed culture, it was so boss. You know, like if you were copping weed, piff, or like sour from like someone like Trav, and you knew that they were getting it from New York or something, right? It was like, it felt like mob shit. It felt like dangerous.
It was larger than life, like pre-internet. Like, yeah, I can definitely see like where you're going with this. It was kind of larger.
Felt
than
dangerous.
Life. Yeah,
it's fucking cool. It's
was
like
visceral.
why you watch mob movies, but like you get scared to meet a mobster. Yeah. But the movie's dope. So when you're copping weed from someone like Trav or like the homies like that, it's like, yeah, that's really cool because I can get it from him because I know it's coming from there and I don't have to like worry about it. Yeah. You know, that was a lot of Connecticut copping weed, I think. In general,
was just someone with a plug to New York, and it was kind of like this ethereal thing that was just like this larger than life thing that you didn't really have access to, but it felt kind of scary and so
and mysterious, which always creates more value.
Yeah.
So that's why like you always hear those stories of like shit being so expensive, and you know, and I think you can talk more on that though.
Even before like the California import bonanza, like before shipping got too common, years? I would say
05?
Like a lot of it. Yeah, maybe by like 07, 08, 09, there started being like what seemed like a lot more availability. There was still droughts and like it wasn't just like menus all the time, but it seemed like people were getting super dank a lot more readily available like in that era. But before that, like you were saying, it was like you kind of needed to know someone that knew someone. It was just a lot harder and like mysterious, like you say. And once you got the dank in your hand, like you felt the tentacles of like I know what you're trying to say. Like you felt the vibe of all the motherfuckers that touched that shit to get it to you. And like it was crazy back then, especially when it was even before like I'd say like just after the Beaster craziness. So like a little bit after 9/11, but before like the shipments started really coming in like 08, 09, like there was definitely like shit coming in by then.
And that's what I've learned from, because I do all these interviews and stuff in New York, dude. It's the coolest. On the food side of things, what's really cool for me is that I do the bacon, egg, and cheese reviews, and everyone keeps asking me where's the best, and I've become this person that should know. And I always answer that like, I don't know, because I ask everyone else because I'm not from here. And you know what I learned that? Is the pizza shit. Where like, everybody knows Pepe's, everybody knows Modern, but like we could tell you so many other places that you can go to. So like fuck a name brand or whatever. With the food thing I've learned about in the New York culture is that it's like you don't know, especially if you're an outsider. And with the weed shit, it's the same fucking thing, bro. It's like that's why I came in here saying that there's really good New York legal weed that I spent $60 an eighth on. One, they're my friends. Two, you don't want to ever hate on weed until you spend money on it, I feel like. And three, dude, there's the shit. Everyone's got a fucking story. Like, that's why I can't wait to ask you a little bit about Dylan, is like what he was just saying, what you said on the other podcast of like where you come from, but real recognize it's real. We all, no matter where you come from, if you're selling weed and you have a heart, or if you connect to the culture in some way, in a real way, it's a open market for you, I feel like. Everyone. You know 100%. What I mean? It's very like open arms as long as you're original, right? Feel? Yeah. Talk a little bit more on that, because I feel like you have some interesting views on that of like what original is in the weed industry.
Original. I feel like not too long ago, like it was a huge cast of characters. It's like, you know, which is still like that, but it's not as like, you know, it was just a group of vagabond artists, musician, underworld people that didn't have social security number type people. And like, I don't know if.
You think it was people looking for community?
Yeah, I think part of it is I might go back to this a lot, but a part of it was pre-internet too, and everyone like it was like it was weirder. Like it was just a weirder time before like people had like an internet identity to kind of like worry about or keep clean. And I think it's hard to describe original. To me, it's like, you talking about the canna itself, the brand,
I'm talking about the branding,
or the people behind it? Because that's where I go.
I think it's the same thing, Trav.
I go to like the people behind it. Like I guess that kind of is the brand and it is the plant. But to me, original are like what the people are coming up with, or how they're spending their off time, or like, you know, creative ways they want to do with the plant, or just not, you know, I guess not running LCG under fucking LEDs for fucking 58 days and fucking feeding it 4.0 and rock wool with Athena. And like, to me, I guess I could say that's not original. Not that you can't grow super dank like that, or that people aren't succeeding doing that, but it's like, I don't know. It's complicated.
Originality is originality, my friend. That's why I like asking you that, is because you're the funny one, and Dylan will attest to this, is like, you don't try to be a brand. I think you've evolved into that because, like you said on our podcast before, and I love chatting with you about just evolution and where you learn those, because we're always learning. You can't be the same forever, you know?
Yeah, I've had a good quote. He told me all he ever had to worry about was cops and robbers. And then one day he had to worry about the customers not showing up.
Yeah.
That is gangster. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And that's when he went online.
That's like when I kind of like came out of the cannabis closet and was like, yeah, you know, I wasn't afraid to like expose myself at all.
Yeah.
If it meant that I could continue with the lifestyle, you know. And I don't know if that was a directly attributed to it, but it feels like it. That's for sure.
Well, we talked about that a lot, about back against the wall. Dude, again, like last time I was here, I was like, fuck, I hope I like get $10,000 of seed funding so I can like get this product to a marketplace. And now we're in almost 100 stores, you know? So you're back against the wall. These days, even when I get like sad or whatever, or like lonely out there, I'll try to just like do something new, because if you backs against the wall and you have to change things up, usually like you feel good and new things come your way, whether that be relationships or money. A lot of the times in this industry, they're the same thing, right? The plug, the outlet, you know what I mean? They don't work unless like they both have each other, you know? So I think that a lot of like the originality is knowing when to bend, you know, and still keeping your core values, right?
100%. And that's kind of, well, you're both describing the same thing, which is you were forced to evolve, which happens at a faster pace now than it did previously.
Yeah.
Because when things are open and legal and it's a free market, relatively, depending on the state and regulations, et cetera, you're put into circumstances where there's forces that are larger than you that you have to adapt to. Those forces used to be not going to jail and not getting ripped off, which is like the Trav's quote. Now it's like these much larger things that you're talking about, which is like, did you ever expect to do a podcast, Pauly? Is that something you considered?
No, but
or was it
something I think I said this to Trav, and I wanted to tell him this because you know how much I fucking love and respect you personally, because you're one of the only reasons why I'm even in this game, is that this past year for me, like I'm not a grower, you know, I work hard, but in my own way. And I've like become myself in New York originally, because I've learned so much more about myself going out there nervous, being like, fuck, dude, like I can't fake the funk here. I've done that a lot, you know? So like going out there has been so good for me as a person, and I've made the most money. I've gotten my shit out to the most people ever, which was my talent, right? Which is like building community and making people feel comfortable is really like what I've done, you know? And it's, I think because again, like the back against the wall and being nervous. Like, I think that shit is fucking important in this business, because like everyone like especially newbies, right? Custies that want to turn into players. Sometimes we're like, but like I like having open arms and seeing what people have to offer to the industry. That's why I was curious to what you said to him earlier on the other pod, was like where we all come from. Real recognizes real, though. It's like, it's good that we're different, but like, what is that binding thing? Maybe it's just the plant. I don't know. That's like being hippy dippy or whatever. But like, who knows? The camaraderie of it, I think, is a big part of it. Community. You know, we're all fucking outcasts, weirdos. Look at the people that we see that come in that try to be cool. I don't know if it works. You know?
Yeah.
It was interesting what you said about, I mean, in essence, what you were saying is you've always been doing a podcast. You've always been doing this. Maybe you
Yeah,
just didn't put it on
marketing
YouTube.
or like being eccentric or
And
bringing
then when-
people together, you know, and
then
showing
when you
it off.
and then when you enter like a more structured way of approaching the game, which is you have a fucking license, right? A state said that you can do this in a specific way, and now you have to play by a new set of rules.
Kind
Okay.
of.
Yeah, fair enough.
Kind of.
Fair enough.
I go buy and sell weed, and I almost have to do. Just spend more money and do more. I have more opportunity. I have less rules.
Interesting. All right,
I don't have to I have to put it in a cool bag. I have to do other things to differentiate myself because I don't grow weed.
It's not like you need someone to vouch for you to go to XYZ farm to even look at their stuff, let alone build a long-standing relationship. I feel like that could be a big part of it. You know, it's like the old days, it didn't matter even if you knew that where the farm with the super dank for good numbers was, you know? Are they going to talk to you? Like, probably not. They probably got other people to talk to. So I could see what you're saying there. There's opportunity everywhere. Everyone's a phone call away, email away. It's not like you have to know someone who knows someone on the same hill that might be able to like get a meeting, you know?
And I get away with just being where we come from, just being myself, right? And you know,
Yeah, it's dope.
who would have fucking thought that the biggest thing my brand's doing well out there is because I'm transparent. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is where the weed comes from. I didn't grow it. You want to meet him? Go on my podcast. We do a podcast together and talk about the weed.
Oh, yeah.
And guess what? It's cheaper because he sells his A-buds. So all this stuff that he doesn't want to sell, I take it, and you can get it for cheaper. Breakfast connections. You know, that's like the thing.
Shameless.
You know? But that's what I'm good at is like finding a lane, my own little lane. And I was joking with Dylan because like I came here, it's like this is such top shelf shit in Maine, and I'm not even just talking about the product.
Okay.
Like, dude, you
What do you
fucking
mean?
had your homie roll me a blunt. I had to literally make sure he didn't put in a grinder. I didn't like the tip and just had to bite it off with my teeth because I like it that way. Where like you guys are like, it's so classy though, you know? And
We're classy motherfuckers.
yeah, but it's still Maine. So it's like, it's very artsy in a way. It's not necessarily classy. It's very like artsy.
I mean, full disclosure, we're not from Maine originally.
Oh, right. Yeah. So tell us, me and Trav, who are you? Where you come from? This is going to be the interview.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, sure.
I forgot that this is like actually like people actually watching.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I want to know who you are, dude.
I actually grew up in New York.
Where?
I grew up on Long Island. But in terms of weed, my parents were growers. I got into weed right around the time you guys started. We're talking about, which was like maybe 06, 07, 08, when I was in high school.
And you're my age, right? 33?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, in terms of like good weed, you know, for the first 2 years, didn't really know anything. We were getting sold whatever, which was what they called dro back then, which was beasters.
I wonder where that was coming from.
This fucking great question. Somebody probably knows.
Probably Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But like we were just kids. We didn't know anything. You know, you're getting sold 0.7s for 20 of dro, which we didn't know any better. That was better than the Mexican brick we were getting before that.
Yeah.
I finally got a legit plug in like 07, 08, and just an old hippie dude that played tennis in a tennis club.
That's some
Swear to
Long
God.
Island shit.
Yeah. Old. Yeah, he's still in the game. He's the man. And I got in because like the director of the tennis club like vouched for me that I was cool.
You played tennis?
Yeah, growing up. And that dude had like proper weed. He had real, at least what I don't know, but he had sour and it was really good.
Okay.
And that was the first time we ever had really, really good weed. That was like,
That time frame checks out. That's like to me the height of sour D, like 07, 08.
yeah.
Like it would make sense.
Yeah, and there's like
Is that being grown in New York? Is that like Albany and shit, like up north New York? But they're also growing in the mountains in Cali.
Yeah.
There's probably different variations, but whatever.
100%. And there's, I mean, we can talk about it.
It was around then, though, from like what I remember.
Yeah.
Like
I'm just interested in what that sour was that was being sold in Long Island and the tennis courts.
Yeah, good point. I mean, he had a
Interesting.
high-end clientele, right? He had a house on the bay. Like, he lived a good life. All this dude did was play tennis.
Were you guys like Connecticut, where it was like outside the city, almost
very much so? We were like hour east
like
of the
Long
city.
Island wasn't New York in a way. It's
Not
like Long
even
Island's
close.
its own shit.
Not
There's
even
like fucking
close.
9 million people there.
Yeah.
You know
And-
that? That's fucking
in the
crazy.
city?
You know, Long Island,
Oh no,
9 million,
That's crazy.
and there's like 13 million in the
That's
city.
like as much as the boroughs.
There's 3 million people who live in Maine,
I mean, if you include Brooklyn and Queens, which is technically geographically on Long Island,
and this is all legal.
that's
people.
not including Brooklyn and Queens.
And we're not even talking about like you're not even talking about illegals, so like that wouldn't even be on the fucking like on the numbers.
Yeah, right.
Throw in another million.
Yeah, there you go.
True.
There's like a whole podcast to be talked about the sour, which is I'd like to touch on, which is like I have this feeling that we're like all in like a collective delusion of like what it was, but then we all kind of share similar, like we share the same memories.
I remember. We ran through units. I fucking remember so many rides to the casino, the Flavor and the Dutch. I remember.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. I always
fucking
go to you on
remember.
that. Because remember you said sour is when it goes out and you spark it back up, it tastes just as good, if not better.
Yes.
Which is
all
weird.
the way down.
We smoke Dutches too.
we should
so.
just spend the whole podcast just naming quotes that Travis said.
Yeah, that was a good one that you had before. That was a good one. I'm gonna put
Don't
it
do
right
me like
there.
that,
Put it
bro.
right
We
there.
should just
Right
list Trav quotes
Don't
the
do me
whole
like
podcast.
that.
You got to write a little like a you know how they have short films or like a short book.
Yeah.
Travy quotes.
Yeah.
I feel like one thing that won't get lost in collective memory, and I believe I brought this up before, was how far the aroma travels.
So that was what I was gonna say. We all have the
And
same
it's
memory
like-
that it was fucking loud.
Yes.
And it's not that like that.
Dude, if you put a
Yes.
roach out and put it in your pocket, crazy.
Yeah, I vividly
Can't go
remember.
anywhere.
Yeah. I vividly remember the first time coming back from that plug's house. First time I ever copped.
Was that to cop to hustle to break down?
No, we weren't like that.
So you were
'Cause-
probably addicted to consuming weed before you started selling it.
Yes.
You were like in that world. Were
Yeah.
you?
Oh, yeah.
we were always looking for
I
the
don't
best
think I
weed.
was, but go on.
We were always looking for the best weed. And like we felt so fortunate to have the opportunity to go and spend $500 a zip to get good weed
Crazy.
because we literally didn't have access to it.
That's sick though.
Yeah, but I remember that first time coming.
No
like,
wonder
vividly,
why this is like the weed you grow. That's definitely your roots.
Yeah.
Like this like crazy ass dank.
Well, maybe that's the other
Has
question.
to.
How good was it? Like everyone says that. Like everyone's like, oh, the weed was so much better back then. The weed was so much better. Yeah, like of course it was the first time I ever had good weed. Right? I'm 16, 17, whatever it is. Like my top, I'm literally smoking Mexican brick like a year prior. Right? Like the difference between good weed and bad weed back then was so incredible. Like it was huge. And now it's like you're like, oh, this is fire. We can all appreciate it, but like when you look at like commercial mids, even in like whatever market, and especially established markets like Michigan or California or Colorado, it's quite good. Like if we had gotten that back then, we would have said this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is something I really actually like about. There's so much we could talk about like the rescheduling, but one thing I do like about it is I just feel like it's the hemp time where like just more people are going to smoke weed, and I just think of it as there's so many more people smoking weed. There's so much more lane. There's so many more lanes. There's so many more strains. There's so many more growers. So like everyone could have their own piece of it. And like what was so cool about opening up those bags was like this is Dylan shit. Hearing Trav talk about his curing process, I was like, I can't wait to get some of that because I know he's thinking about it when he's putting it on those hangers. And I say hangers for a reason because like it's small batch and it's like you guys mean what you say. And even me, like with the blunts and stuff, like you've seen my blunts, you're probably like, I don't care. But it's so great for fucking New Yorkers on the go. $10 with your coffee.
100%.
Have a good, you know what I mean? So it's like everyone, that's what's exciting to me about the game right now, the industry, whatever term. It's just cool to see new shit all the time.
I mean, we're literally developing a new like legal commodity market in real time.
And all those lanes, if you're doing it right, are rooted in the stories that we're telling. Like what you're
100%.
saying from this guy at the tennis courts. So
100%.
This hour.
Yeah, cop the sour. I remember vividly the first time coming home and basically the same memory as everyone else had of sour in that era, which was like, it was like 15 minutes in my glove box from the plug to my house. And like for a week, like people wouldn't come into my car Because back then it was like, dude, this is going to be a problem for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to reek like weed. From like 15 minutes in the glove box. So everyone remembers that. If we're collectively diluted, we're collectively diluted in the same way. I don't know if it was actually that much better than what we get now or why. But everyone remembers it being like absurdly loud. And the sour that we test and smoke through and sample a lot of people's sours. And
It's all sour crosses though, right?
Yeah, I mean, the best examples that we've seen are sours by OGs that are like back cross. So like
Sours by OGs as in OGs grew it, or like
no,
cross with
sorry,
OGs?
sorry,
Kush.
cross by OG, cross to OGs.
Oh, okay.
So like the one that we've seen the best examples of is Karma's work. A lot of people are popping those and finding keepers in the sour BX2, the sour BX4.
Are those
whatever.
like genetics from like Amsterdam and shit?
Yeah. I don't know the dude, but you might, Trav. But he had his version of sour that he copped, I don't know where, but in that time period, and he hit it to an OG, and then he's been back crossing it for a while. But the original packs are still
And
out
that's like
there.
headband, right? Isn't that like what headband is?
Right, headbands, sour OGs.
Again,
as well.
like I'm saying, it's just so cool to see all these new shit. Like you could spend whatever type of fucking dollar amount right now and be anywhere and cop fire. I bet you if you even go to Texas and it's not even legal or shit, I bet you there's some cool ass culture down
Houston's
there.
got the dank. Shout out to Houston.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, but isn't that rad? And it's all rooted in good brands and people from their stories. And
Yeah.
like that shit. That's what's cool to hear about, like where you guys come. That's why I like doing this shit. And there should be more. And there should be like more. There should be. It's tough though, because like we always wanted to put the mask on.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is the first podcast you've done, and you're pretty well known out here.
I wouldn't.
like
I don't
that-
know about that, but yeah.
I think
Fair
you
enough.
are.
Thank you,
People
man.
know who you are, and you have good shit. But
I
that's the
appreciate
funny thing. It's like they would know more about you if you did stuff like this more, you know? Or like I think there should be more media in weed. Hopefully, the scheduling will change that too.
100%. Yeah, I mean, there's two arguments to be made there. Like, there's the people on your side who say more access is better, more like
I don't know
broader,
if I said better. I guess it is better. I think it's better. But go on. Yeah.
like a broader market creates all this opportunity and innovation. You know, we can talk about it now. There's all this stuff. The other side is like, oftentimes in a commodity market, there will be consolidation, and and it actually, although you think it'll create sort of more diversity and more quality and this and that, oftentimes it'll create like actually more consolidation and less diversity of stuff.
How would that happen? Tell me a little bit more, because I would love to learn.
Sure. Yeah. So like comparing it to a different thing, a different agricultural product, let's say. If you look at tomatoes, okay. So there are thousands of varieties of tomatoes. There are strains of tomatoes similar to what we have. But the access to that over the 20th century got less and less and less and less as the production and the distribution of tomatoes became more consolidated under less supermarket brands and less large-scale farms. Their incentives were to create products that were very shelf-stable, that ship very easily, that were inexpensive to grow, et cetera, et cetera. And what you get is a very bland, cardboard terp tomato, which is like your beefsteak that's on any supermarket shelf, right?
Do you buy those? What do you buy right now as tomatoes?
No,
Do you look for the best tomatoes?
100%. But those tomatoes are very difficult to grow.
Free market of tomatoes.
There's always a connoisseur market. It's just much smaller.
So I feel like a way to visualize it happening in the real world is like, let's say like Lobster and Fractal's menus together are stronger together than either one of them would be independently. So let's say all of a sudden we started doing mergers in the game on a small like start, not like huge corporations, how everyone always envisions, you know? Let's just say all of a sudden we were one thing. There probably goes half the menu. Like,
Yeah,
and that's
100%.
how it happens slowly but surely. And then all of a sudden,
Even
an
as
even
more-
bigger one eats you up. And then almost all of the interesting stuff's gone. And then by the time that conglomeration gets teamed up one more time, it's all the same. Like, does that make sense? Like,
It
like,
does.
like to me,
Yeah.
that's how the steamroll happens. And it's like if we
It's interesting being in a new emerging market.
Especially
Fucking
up
crazy.
here, like in Maine, like all of our collective inputs are way better than any like mega grows could be, I feel like, because there's so much diversity and interesting stuff that comes out.
A lot of
different grow
competition.
techniques, different genetics. Like, yeah. Not even competition, I would say.
But that
that's
makes you
part
have to be unique.
It's
you know?
part of it, yeah. It's like that originality, but organic, you know? Like if everyone's just left to their own demise, I feel like up here, like interesting stuff happens, you know? And it's like a lot of people have interesting menus up here, but if we all started having to group up, shit would just get lost. And like Maine would still have gooder, but like not as much. It wouldn't be as like rich of a diversity.
Are you
I
guys
feel like.
feeding the market? Like, is it overfed? Like, is it oversaturated in Maine?
It depends. Yes and no.
It's tough to do those numbers because there's a lot of weed that's being bought that from out of state people.
100%.
You know?
But on a very basic level, there is more units of weed produced than units of weed consumed. And I think that's true nationally.
By how much?
A lot.
Not in New York. It's not even close.
It depends how you look at it. I think that's fair, but they just got grows on that.
What were we just talking about earlier? That's why I just said the thing about the out of state. There's 3 million people that live in Maine.
Okay, but if
There's
you took
9 million people that live in the place you
Well,
came from
that
that
being
technically
said,
is New
we're-
York, but it wasn't.
yeah, I mean,
We're allowed to have out-of-state patients legally
Yeah.
as well. So that's a nuance that I feel is unique to up here. You know, it's like our consumer population is way bigger than that legally when they're here. So it's like, that's a big nuance.
And
you
it's
know?
like it's the only state that can really do it that way.
There's a couple, I don't know if
Colorado
there's still
and Cali,
reciprocatory. It was all the M states at one point. It was like
Medical,
Michigan, Montana. But yeah, med exactly. I don't know.
'Cause this
but
is
that
medical
being
here.
said, rec is the same thing. If you're an adult in New York, you're from out of state, you're a New York consumer.
Yeah, you
So
could,
it's the same thing. You see what I mean? And it's like,
but it's still a gigantic state and it's underpopulated.
it's not
But
like it's
what's
Mississippi
the-
where there's very few people going to visit there. It's like people actually come here.
What is the literal, you know how it's like live free or die in New Hampshire? What's Maine's? The vacation state, vacation land.
Yeah.
That's why that's what's so cool. I'm literally here on New Year's Day on vacation doing a podcast with you guys, and I'm getting clowned for being a consumer. You know what I mean? So it's like, you see my point as a consumer, where it's like, I think more consumers, it's just more business. You know, like
I think a lot of the producers up here are consumers first, though. How you kind of asked Dylan before, you were like
Yeah.
you were hunting the dank before you were flipping biscuits, and right away I was like, lots of time, like years and years of just wanting herb before like realizing like, oh shit, I should get a little more next time, or like shit, I got to get a lot more eventually.
I mean, I feel like
and
that's the
that's
classic
why
story.
your shit is so fucking good, though.
Thank you, man.
So it's like, but I feel a lot of the peeps up here that have unique menus, it's like, are really doing their thing. Like
like it's art.
There's a lot of peeps like that up here. Yeah, they're searching the dank like since day one, before the grows or before the brands.
I mean, you
know,
guys
like-
are.
Yeah.
Everyone, it's, you know, we even go to those Mission poker games. It was so cool to be there as an outsider when you see someone's, like Mission, for example, has really cool packaging. So if you look at their stuff through social media, you're just automatically drawn to that. And then guess what? Their product's really good too, and it's at a competitive price, right? That's kind of what we do. And that's what's cool about selling weed. I told you I've been trying to figure out a way to have salespeople. And the one thing I've been trying to like preach is, if when you're selling weed, you're selling something that gets you high, like euphoric, physical. But like if you can give someone that experience, you know, like before they even buy it, that's like something you'll get forever. And that's like community. That's like someone who likes your brand. Like me and Trav always talk about Ralph. One thing I remember, I still wear a lot of Ralph, but I don't buy that much designer shit. But Ralph is what? You taught me this. It's like, it lasts.
Yeah.
If you look at all my clothes and shit, it's like that shit lasts. So like Ralph is like known for their branding and shit, but their product is still fucking good. And that's what gets people to have a brand like that last for a long time.
So I have a question for you. At its core, what do you believe a brand is?
The person and the story behind it that draws the people in based off of the same emotions. It's all feeling. You know, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's why I think I'm good at selling weed, is because weed gives you a feeling. And I mean, dude, we and Trav we're like, we love collecting movies. You know you like movies, and you put them on at certain times because
Did you
certain
watch the new
feelings.
PTA or someone yesterday? I checked it last night.
It's one of my favorite movies I've ever seen.
Okay.
No joke. What did you
The Rebellion one?
Yeah.
The
One Battle After Another?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Dude, it's Lebowski times a million.
It's amazing. It's so good.
It's so good. Oh, we might have to start a new podcast about movies. And that's kind of my point where like PTA, right? It's like,
I like that I didn't know he directed it until the credits at the end.
You didn't?
Nope. It was a cool way to watch it. And then at the end, all of a sudden I started seeing it different ways. But like
it was a PTA movie.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
To its core.
Yeah.
The sound. So that's a perfect
I
example.
feel like it
of what
was
I'm saying.
almost 3 different films in one. Like the first was like a 70s, like the way that the audio was in that film grabbed me kind of the most. There wasn't really any traditional songs, and a lot of it was just dunk 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 dunk, like thumping, almost like John Carpenter music. And the beginning just had that weird 70s background fucking vibe the whole time, like the first act. Like I really, really dug that.
So that's exactly what I'm saying.
And like the
PTA
end was like a
creates
western.
universes.
The end was like a modern western where they all had like the fast cars instead of horses. Like
Yeah, that scene on the hills was amazing.
Dude.
yeah. Have you ever driven hills like that out west? Right away, I was thinking there were some
like
places
I have,
like
but nothing
Death
that I
Valley-ish,
really remember.
like
well,
in the
dude,
middle.
17.
Yeah,
I've driven 17. Shout out Big
that's
Homie.
like crazy up and down, but not like the whoop-de whoops.
That's
Like,
probably the
like,
craziest I've ever rode was 17. 17's fucking. You're saying 17's like mild?
Not that it's mild, it's just different. I think it's
You know
the
what we're
most,
talking
it's
about?
the most
It's- you ever been
dangerous
to Santa
highway
Cruz?
in the country
Yeah.
consistently.
Right?
But
You've been on the 17 in Santa Cruz?
Yeah, that goes into the hills, right?
Dude, that shit. Shout out Big Homie. Flux gave me a fucking. This is like 100 milligram edible s'mores thing, and I had to drive to your house from the city, tripping so fucking way too much. That was when like edibles were like, just get you fucked up, and they don't really know what's in it, you know. And I don't know, but dude, going back to what I was saying about feeling and branding, what you were just saying, like you when you found out it was PTA, you're like, that makes sense because he creates feeling in his movies.
I immediately assessed the entire film differently for some reason, thinking back to all his other movies and like, you know, trying to peep game, like Hard 8, like right away I went to, I was like, okay, what's the similarities between like the intros and outros essentially?
Dude,
you
that
know
fucking,
what I mean?
he shot, it's
Like-
almost like he shot it the same way with the roads. Remember when he comes in, it's almost on like a little roller skate in Hard 8 in the beginning of the movie when he's sitting outside. Didn't it feel like that?
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
that.
I was kind of like immediately comparing. But.
That's top 5 for me.
It was really good. It was so good.
That's up there with Lebowski with me. It was basically like extreme modern Lebowski. Leo definitely was like channeling that.
Yeah, the vibe.
Yeah. But that's the whole thing is the vibe. I think that's what a brand is.
Are we gonna get flagged for mentioning videos?
I don't think so. People watch the clips. They don't really watch actually your podcast was a lot. I forgot how popular you are.
One thing I want to
People might watch this one.
One thing I want to give a
Watch out.
One thing I want to give a shout out for what's original too is wanting a scooter over a skateboard for a delivery. Like that's personality, that's character, that's original. Like that's
That is
when
sick.
When you were saying that before, like the little things like that, like they're
The
both
beacons.
They're both modes of transportation, but like there was a preferred one clearly.
Bro,
for the
your
fucking
brand,
delivery.
dude, you are a brand. You like you wearing the LRG top to bottom fit.
my
is
Christmas
that's your
fit.
brand. That's your brand. Did wifey get you that? That feels like a wifey gift.
No comment.
I like how LRG in the early 2000s was just like, who are we going to sell to? Who's our target market? Like just weed dealers.
That's what I was saying.
Skateboard it was tied in heavily with too as
Definitely.
well, which was kind of
LRG?
cool. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Remember Karma Loop?
There's still I think
do.
I feel like
that was a dope website.
I feel like they're doing a
Hype beast.
resurgence of that. I feel like I've seen a lot of skateboarders repping LRG again recently. So maybe they're like sponsoring people or just promoting through them again.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a big part of it. I think Raekwon was like an ambassador in the early days. So it's like I took it as like a little bit of woo, a little bit of skate, and like something new. You know, like,
Do you
it was
know
fucking dope.
when me and Mikey went up to work with Big Homie back in the day, there was this guy who was like running the house over there that was best friends with that guy who started LRG, who like
Okay,
died of
that's
heroin.
cool. Oh,
and,
geez.
and it wasn't that long before that he died. And you know, like hill shit, dude, like when you're spending like 2 weeks with people who've been up there all year, they're like, they'll talk to you about anything, dude. And this guy just like starts crying about like the guy who started LRG, and we're like trimming weed. Like, and it's funny. Remember we were talking about like when we were in Cali and we were making $4,000 a pound, but we were broke, you know?
I never had it at 4.
The things that I was
out there.
Dude, just like the stories of being in the Bay at that time are fucking nuts for me. Like, again, I was just, me and Mikey were driving up to go trim, popped my tire, had this dude in the back seat, had to like use his AAA. He's like, oh man, he's like, you're not gonna be able to go to the farm if, you know, you got a flat tire. So like, you know, just not even because I got a flat tire, was because of the sketchiness.
Yeah.
Of like getting AAA before I go to the farm. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then the guy who's running the farm was best friends with the guy from LRG, and he's crying. It's like, what the fuck? He's like, I would have paid thousands of dollars for, I would spend so much money on getting those experiences back, which makes them priceless because I don't know. That's what we were on. Like that time, like it wasn't about money. It was like we were selling weed and didn't have a job.
Weird original stuff.
We didn't have a job. Like that. I guess that's kind of what it was too.
Weird.
Mountains.
Crazy.
And like the idea, it was so cool to go work on these mountains, right? And you'd be like, I want to get one. That was like some Bay vibes too, right? Like back then, it was the homie that had the lot. Like you wanted to be like them.
Yep.
You just wanted land, and you wanted to be in Humboldt.
Like the ultimate freedom, I guess.
We're still living it though, guys. I think. I feel it. Shit sucks a lot of the time, but like I'm still buying and selling weed.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's
That's cool. It's fun. Not much has changed. It's the New Year's Day podcast, I thought. Throw a little spice in there. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say that we can still find those elements in the weed business. The weed game still has those elements if you want to chase them. There's other elements that you have to accomplish as well now, but that's part of it, I suppose.
Well, boys, we're about at 45 minutes. I would love for you guys to be on the podcast next New Year's as well. It'll be fun to go back to this to see where the game has gone. You know? And like going back to branding and like we were talking about Schedule 3 a little bit, and like where like will the market be bigger and more fruitful for us, or will we have to align forces more and like make cuts to be relevant? I wonder.
What do you think? 2020.
I think more.
Paulie Breakfast Connection 2026 prediction.
I think there'll be more, and we'll all make more money. And I think that because we're willing to bend and we're willing to duck and dodge. And like, I'm not doing anything else. I don't have a resume. I guess I do, but like, it doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, don't.
I like selling weed, and I'm an emerging industry, and I'm pretty good at it. And there's more stuff that I can do. I feel like we can all do that. There's more opportunity is how I feel.
Agreed.
You know?
What about you, Trav?
I think it's hard to speculate on what's going to be the change next. My speculation is like off. Like I don't think much is going to change too rapidly, or like at least I don't think the pace is going to move any quicker. And like I don't think officially it's been moved to Schedule 3 yet, and I don't know if it will be. Like I'm already like I'll speculate maybe nothing will change that drastically too soon. Long term, I'm appreciative and grateful every day I get to be in the garden, whatever necessary evils it takes to like live and be able to do that. I'm ready for it. But I've heard lots of different speculations, and mine is one I don't hear often, where I don't think it's just going to be like things change all of a sudden. I think the farm bill with a ticking expiration date, I think that's going to change some stuff.
I think they both are the same thing. I feel like they did that shit for a reason.
Yeah, yes and no, but like that seems like it's firm and it's happening, but that's also a part of like I don't think that touches us too much. And that's also, I heard you guys talk about access earlier, and I feel like sometimes there's too much access. Like, do we want to be able to buy pre-rolls when we get fuel for our vehicle? You know, or like, you know, anytime you go to any type of a store, Like, I think there's such thing as over access and under access. Like, maybe like get some healthy food at the gas station before we like make more space for weird pills and like pre-rolls. So if like, I feel like it might, if anything, that might help with like access evening out, because I feel like access is a good thing for everyone that wants to, but like there's a such thing as over access. You could get it and still not have to have it in your face. So maybe the farm bill will just clean up a lot of that shenanigans in most states, but I don't think that currently has much impact on what we do, and I don't think it going away is going to have much impact. If anything, it'll be positive, you know.
More important question, Paulie. I don't know if you know this, but Trav is pretty prophetic about predicting what the next strain / terp trend is going to be.
I haven't seen
you know about this, bro?
I don't know about
You know about this?
I did have a good run.
He had a good run. So let's hear the 26. What do you think is going to happen in terms of like the markets, the market's demand for different things?
So like our localized market?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a good prediction.
Still perp? We're talking perp a lot.
Yeah.
Urkel.
I've been saying grapes for a while, and I do see some grapes, but it definitely never like, I feel like the grape wave never like
Fruit never wins contests, I've learned.
Yeah.
You never
hash
it's always
contest.
like gas or hate.
It wins.
I
It wins
believe
hash
Tangy
contest.
is the most like
Tangy.
awarded.
Tangy.
Yeah. Pretty sure Tangy in its era.
Which
like
is
it's the
kinda
most
like-
awarded genetic there is.
Which is
so
kind of like Trop, which is also very
I would
awarded.
I would argue with that. Z wins a lot too. If you
Candy.
count that as yeah.
Do you consider fruit as candy? That's a good question.
Like I feel like there's interpretive borderlines where things like what's the Venn diagram?
To me, candy is anything Z.
And it's like if
Sherbety.
Z is supposed to be grapefruit, a lot of people I hear describe it as grapefruit. Like that's citrus specifically, not even fruit. Like that's the same as tangy and pineapple almost.
Mm-hmm.
It has a different mouthfeel and it has something else going on, but the most common descriptor I usually hear is like a grapefruit note. Like I don't know if that's the same with you or something you hear, but
They say hard shell candy, like literal, like there's a whole like
But that's like Z, right?
that's what I hear the most for Z. It's like a lime hard shell candy with like a astringency to it.
okay.
We happen to like Z a lot here. We just don't see it that often. There's a lot of crosses.
Those Z sour crosses are awesome, dude. Do you have any of those around?
There's flavor, like the flavor farming
Yes.
crosses.
Those are
He
dude,
kills,
I caught
dude.
that shit like a year ago.
Yeah.
He always been trying to put on flavor farming. I love that dude. Yeah, he kills it. He does a lot of great Z crosses. Hyro's the only people I know that actually grow the original cut up here.
Are you still Are you smoking hash?
Every like what kind of hash?
Like dabbing?
Yeah.
Like solventless stuff.
Yeah. I've been dabbing a little more recently.
Do
for sure.
people still really like the Piff sauce? That shit was cool.
Yeah.
The Piff Diamonds?
Yeah.
That's like a unique one. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's-
it's unique, like you say. Like some people really dig it. I'd say overall, like percentage of people wise, probably not, but the people that dig it really, really, really dig it, which is cool. You know, it's like
Do you sell more solventless or solvent concentrate
solvent.
because of the affordability?
Yeah, and because it does better.
That's national, brother.
Yeah, it also does
No
better
matter
in
what market
carts.
you're in. That's what's so interesting to me about this market talk we keep saying. We're
I think
like,
flavor diversity as well. You can get a lot of different flavors out of blasting it as opposed to washing it.
Yeah, but
It
I think
seems like.
cost is still definitely.
I said a statement, an ignorant statement years ago to Pine Tree out here, and was like, if it's moonshine, right? And that there's people, I was like, people don't buy moonshine. He's like, you're wrong. And I know I was wrong because like you can't say that about anything really. And that's what I mean about like more lanes and shit. Like,
Yeah,
if you're
totally.
fucking dude. We're talking about like I'm finally able to make a living off my entrepreneurial business. Trav knows I had a t-shirt business that failed. I've like tried other things and always came back to weed, and that's like a spiritual thing for me in itself. But to have a business that just so happens to sell weed, give myself a salary to live off of, it's so funny that that's all it really is. It's like being able to like live whatever your goals are, and then you can like do the thing you like. As corny as that fucking sounds, it's true.
Congratulations.
Well, I mean,
We're
but
proud of you, Pauly.
Well, thank you. We're also talking about that's the interesting thing about California. We're like, we were kind of like pretend balling because we were like dude, you used to play board games
The
for
lifestyle,
days
like,
on end.
like
Remember
you,
that?
Like you were saying, you would give in crazy amounts to be able to re-experience that.
I would.
We were. It was
Yeah,
like
I would.
it was just a different version. Like it wasn't like I don't know.
Do you think it was a lot of adrenaline? For me, it was when I was waddling in those little post offices.
Absolutely, it was the lifestyle.
It's true, dude.
Crazy. It's
That's
wild.
Can I
West
talk
shit.
about that? Do you feel comfortable? It's been like a long time.
I don't remember.
I'm just talking about how we met and like what the things that we did.
Do you remember?
He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I used to waddle my ass into these fucking post like shops, and like I think sometimes the adrenaline of like, dude, I remember when I first got remember the trippy sticks before vapes like got popped, and like
definitely.
and like Big Homie
I heard
had
you
those.
talking about them on the pod you did with Tommy V recently.
Dude, and like I'll never forget. And this is probably that story.
That was cutting edge, groundbreaking shit. Like at that moment, like,
they were in those cloths. No one knows what I'm talking about, Trav, when I talk about that. Do you know?
100%.
What are you talking about?
You can explain it better than me.
I don't think they were that popular. So they were 510 screw-ins. They had a black, just no design, just a black wrap, and they were like some sort of cloth on the inside that like wicked some sort of like Girl Scout cookie oil.
And that was the vaporizer.
It was essentially right after
Literal vaporizer.
So I don't know the
But it was
year
that
it was,
cookie,
but it was
bro.
right when the blues came out. Like remember when nicotine vaping first
I did,
came
yeah.
out, and there were like the blue was the brand BLU. It wasn't long after the homies had mimicked
Well,
it
they
with
created
cannabis.
the technology, right? They created the technology. That's interesting.
So it was that era. It was like I want to say 6 months after those blues were being so heavily promoted, the homies had them, and a lot of other people didn't have carts for a long time. Like there was a gap.
I was the
I feel
man with those.
Like I
back
saw
home.
those.
still the man,
man.
I saw those, and then
You
like
smoke in a
I
movie
didn't
theater.
see other options
Yeah.
for a long time. Like it was definitely like cutting edge, and no one in society had any idea. Like you could still do them on a plane nonstop. You could clam bake a plane. You could clam bake a restaurant.
That was
I
the
remember
coolest
we were
shit.
in like an expensive recording studio in SF when they were new. And we were like, no, it's not smoke. It's cool. Like, no, it's cool. And then
Like, what?
eventually, like, the fog was so thick. Like, the producer, whoever, like,
We were
owned-
just burning.
owned
Come on.
We were
shit.
burning hash cloth.
This is cool within reason.
Yeah, it was like, it wasn't good
Yeah.
eventually. But, like, I remember, like, yeah, it was crazy. Like, anywhere in society, like, I remember rolling through a very red state and they just didn't know. They looked at it, they had no idea. Like, it
Again,
was,
when
it
Mike,
was very underground for like a year. It was so freaking cool.
when
Like,
Mikey and me were up at that farm, or that was that time, and I remember the discussion was we can do something with, because there was like the cutting edge that we were trimming on the clone trays, and they would collect the above tray instead of the bottom tray, because they would use that top one. They would call it the clear. And that's how they made those carts, and it was like the biggest thing. And Big Homie like had tons of them, and dude, it was so funny. The reason I got on was that shit that they would like go toss or whatever, be like, give me that, I'll go sell it. And I literally like was able to sell the trash. Again, very similar to what I'm doing still. And that's something I've learned about myself. But I think going back to what we were talking about was the adrenaline, where like I brought those things on the airplane in Oakland and I was like 19, and I had a pound of weed in there, and then these pens, and they let the pound go because I had the medical thing on it. Crazy shit we used to do is kind of the point. We used to just go home with weed, and it was like no problem. And they were looking at all these pens, and they're like, what are those? And in that moment, I was like, going back home, my family smokes cigarettes, because that's what those things were for at the beginning.
Right.
And I got away with it. But like, I don't know. It's like living on the edge.
yeah.
Living on the fucking edge, man. I would
Yeah, it was
pay everything
cutting
to
edge.
get those
Like, I
back.
feel like it'll be a minute before cannabis has another thing like that, where it's like,
You don't think we're in
Yeah,
it, though?
I disagree with that. Like, dude, just think about where solventless has come in the past 5 years. Like solventless, there used to be bubble and like old school dry sift, right? But like nothing compared to what, and it's evolving as we speak. Like, so I'm seeing some of like the the most fire shit be like now dry sift, static tech. These are all things that have been done, but they haven't really been brought to the forefront.
Bubble
That's
hash
what
is
I mean, like,
popular,
the
people
bubble
want
hash
blue
crushes,
dreams.
dude.
The carts
You know?
had never been done before, and even people that all they did was cannabis their entire life, they're like, what is this?
Yeah, true.
And even the rest of society had no clue. But even like lifers, they were just like, huh? Like electric weed?
Yeah.
It's hard to remember when it was new. Like, I don't think like there'll be a jump. Like, I agree that there's definitely, we're moving forward and stuff, even if it's with
Seeing it in
older
cultivation.
techniques. But the carts were just like, it was
That was a giant leap forward.
totally different.
That was a
Like,
giant
it was
leap forward.
electric weed that was over combustion. It was so weird. Like, I don't know. I think we'll be waiting a while until something happens like that, where we're like sniffing it or something. You know, like it was just
drops.
a total different, it's a total different delivery system. And dabs were already out. Like people were already doing.
I get it.
Red hot titaniums were like a thing then.
What was your highest selling product this year? Both of you. You go first.
Wait, in volume or what do you mean? The highest priced?
I'm actually going to change this a little bit. Most biased based off of numbers and what do you think was your most popular product?
Well, for it's so
Not even truly based off numbers, but what do you think had the most?
Oh, I can tell you truly based off numbers. It's the volume of revenue is our flower, our in-house flower.
Sour haze.
Like which strain, or do you mean which category of products?
Category of products always going to be flower eighths or flower.
Well, we
bagged
don't
flower.
sell many eighths, but
Bagged flower.
yeah, bagged flower. But
And
then
then-
we separate into a few categories. So we have 3 tiers.
So do you think that your most hype popular product was a strain of bagged flower?
Yeah.
What do you think? What was it?
Either the lemon tie or the Lash and Kush or
Well, what's
probably one
funny?
of those two.
What's funny? Open those two bags, dude.
I
It
heard
was
that a
like
lot.
fuck. I was like, it's so funny what I do with weed that I buy now, and like if I like it, I'm just get so much more like picky asshole. Where like I literally opened that bag and was like so impressed, but I'm like the next bag they'll probably be similar,
Well, no, it's,
drastically different.
yeah.
It's impressive,
Thanks, man.
you know, as like a consumer. So like, I guess it's that's what's so funny. It's like I just look at it as it's all good, and I like to have something new.
Yeah.
And people who probably come and buy your shit all the time, that's got to be fucking so cool for them. And that's why they're going to love your brand as long as you consistently have variety
Thanks,
within
man.
it. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the beauty of Maine. It's really a farmer's market. You can come up here and you can tap into the scene a little bit each trip. You come up and you learn a few more growers, and you can just reach out to the growers and shoot the shit and like see if they vibe with you. And then you try their weed and you buy a little bit, and then maybe the next trip a month
Culture.
later. Yeah. So that's what's really the beauty of the Maine program. It's designed really well. In our opinion, maybe not on purpose, but or actually definitely on purpose. I know some of the people who were activists for getting the laws the way they are and keeping them that way. We were involved to some extent, but not as much as they were. It is by design, and it's designed really well. There's not a lot of markets like it. So that what you just stated, like everything about you talking about your experience in Maine is basically why it's so dope. Because you come up here to some random industrial building, you don't really know anyone. You're like, wait, I can just like call a grower and then like give them my med card and ID, and I can just like buy their whole menu, and then like, wait, they have friends that are growers, and then you talk to those people, and you just
And all the menus are different dank, like, you know.
That's why it's dope.
Yeah.
That's why it's dope. So you like everything you just described. Then you come up here and it's very like understated, but also like pretty particular, and like everyone's pretty diligent, and everyone like at least the good growers are all very like about it. That's really the beauty of the program up here. So I'm glad you identified all those things, even if it wasn't intentional.
I overthink things. So it's like, I'm like thinking of the vacation state and where I'm going and who I'm meeting with and what we're doing. I actually do have a little bit of thought behind these things.
No implications.
But that was the thing. I'm like, I hope Maine does it, keeps it up, and because it's the vacation state, and it's like, as long as you guys can make money to where you can live up here, like, do you see yourself ever going back to our roots, or do you want to like feel like you want to stay up here and this is where you're going to cultivate in this like next chapter of your life? Because I think about that a lot being in New York, but I'm still at home, and I'm thinking about making that move, but like I like being exiled, like. You know what I mean? You know what I'm asking you, kind of?
I don't know if I'll ever go back. I never really have. As crazy as that sounds,
It's true.
like I left
Forget about that.
long time ago, and like I've come back for little stints here and there, but I've never like really put my roots down. Like I was lucky to be back during the height of the sour era. It was almost like at times it seemed like
forgetting you left
at time
before
it seemed
that.
like life was so rough. But in between my being out west, I came home for like 2.5, 3 years, and it was like 07,
That's when I met you
09
on the basketball court.
and it was like Vets Park. So I kind of had my roots put down then, but in my mind it was always just to get back out west, even if it took a long time. That was the clear goal. That whole time was like, I fucked up the first time. Like, I got to go home. I got to put it down. It was never to put my roots down. So I'm still like that. I don't know, man. I don't know if I would work like home. I don't know. Like, I love it there, but
It's so comfy.
I think
That's why I'm still there.
I don't know, man. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I don't
it
know
affects
if
my work,
I don't
and,
know if I could thrive there, because I would just be going to the next dope sandwich spot and like.
It affects the work for sure.
Yeah.
That's why I've been really thinking about it.
Not to mention the social structure. Like, I can't do what I do and be a citizen.
Warm, it's comfy. I always joke with my friends, and I'm doing a 72-hour fast because I'm fucking overweight and I can eat whatever the fuck I want and I'm doing all right. But like I always joke, it's like where we grew up, it's like you will never go starving. Like it's like so small town community based to where like it's so hard if you have roots there to like really go hungry. All you need is a little opportunity, So like I don't know. It's very comfy and warm there, and you could like never go hungry. It's kind of hard to like, because New York's right there for me, So I think about that all the time, but it definitely affects work. Like I'm not reaching my full potential because I still live at home, It's like what is it worth? I don't know.
Well, it goes back to what you said at the beginning of the podcast. It's like you pivot because you're forced to. You almost never do it by choice. It's the larger factors.
Like comfy is bad a lot of the time.
Oh, I would say all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It depends on your ultimate goals, but like if you're trying to innovate and do new things and do interesting things and pursue larger goals, whatever they may be.
Going back to that too, you got to be pushing.
Yeah.
So the question's going to come from,
and you guys have done it. Like you guys aren't from here, but you're rooted. You're rooted in Maine.
Yeah. But we haven't done it. First of all, it's an infinite game, because you're like,
what do you mean?
You asked Trav if he would ever leave. I would only ever leave if this stopped being interesting.
Interesting or
I was going to expand on
so
that
interesting
as well.
or
It's
comfortable.
like,
if it got comfortable, that would mean by definition it wasn't interesting anymore.
yeah,
And
very
so
amazing answer.
and so
it wasn't challenging. It wasn't like
And
Why
you
we
said
call it
this
the game.
Yeah, you said this earlier. You were like, well, I finally got like a little bit of a bankroll. I finally reached a level of success. Now I don't know what to do with it. And the answer to what to do with it is the same thing that got you there.
And I'm comfy
In a different way. It's so like you were
uncomfortable.
Correct. So like, what is that for you? Okay, you sell blunts and bag flour. Okay, do you do infused pre-rolls? Do you do any manufacturing? How
We
hard
have
is it to
infused
get
pre-rolls coming out.
There you go. Okay. Let's say you do that. How many different
You're
SKUs
talking
could
about
you do?
so that's what you were
Is there new
saying.
technology?
But you're not saying diversify. You're saying the opposite. You're thinking put more
Double
into
down on
double
what's
down.
working.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, as a personal investment strategy and just in business, I think that is the right thing to do. Yeah. Like
Double down on what's
working.
What's working.
Yeah. Let your winners
Not
ride.
a quote.
And it's like pretty. I mean, no, you need to know when to
Yeah.
pivot and to say this isn't working. But
We're
if it
thinking about
is
getting
working,
into-
why would you stop?
We're
If it
thinking
is
about-
working, why would you be like, oh, I need to go instead invest in real estate? It's like, you don't know shit about real estate.
Do you sell?
Like,
do you,
you
do
know
you sell
what
disty vapes?
Yeah, we're just gonna start experimenting with creating our own.
Are they shitty products?
They're okay.
That's why I'm interested. Because again, like I was telling you, my brand out there, and like I'm at service to my customers, and then I go to the plugs. That's like I'm the middle.
No, I
guy.
get it.
And I'm thinking like, is there good disty and bad disty?
Yeah,
Because
100%.
in a way, if I want to sell affordable vapes, I should sell distillate carts,
Correct.
all in ones.
Correct.
But like, I don't know enough about it. Like
Well,
I could go to a
that's
farm.
the uncomfortable part. You need to learn.
I can go to a farm and be like, you're not. It's really going to be hard to like really hustle me, especially if I'm coming in there trying not to buy.
Oh, no,
your
you're
best
gonna
shit
get hustled. You're gonna get hustled on the
with
distance.
this because
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck. I don't know anything about it.
But that's how.
But that's the
how many times did you get
uncomfortable thing,
hustled
yeah.
on the flower before you figured that out?
yeah,
When you were 18.
I guess too
a
long.
lot, bro.
I still
lot.
want to keep smoking fly. That dude, I'm gonna spark that thing back up again.
Yeah.
It's fucking good, bro.
go.
Like I'm
Thanks,
telling
man.
you, man. Yeah.
I want to go back quick to the terp prediction.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, does just longer flowering stuff count as an overall broad one,
definitely.
even if it's not like
100%.
a terp prediction? Because I think that is like, I hear that conversation still more and more, and people are interested in it. And I think we do have that up here, but I think that's going to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And as far as a terp, a new one I'm going to try to introduce, which I feel is pretty novel for up here, is the Afgoo. Do you remember that one?
I
Do you
never
remember
got it
that
back in the
one,
day, but I've heard of it.
Wally?
Absolutely.
Afgoo. It was called Goo, Afgooey, Afgoo, Goo Goo. Like it had so many different.
It was really
little
popular
variations.
Harborside strain. I remember that in Berkeley Patients Group. I'd get that.
And
at.
I've asked a lot of people out here. It seems like it's just not available. So I'm searching for that, and I
do you
have
remember-
some in the hunt that the terps are there.
Wait, describe that profile.
Explain that terp again. Yeah, because it's like
sweet, high end. It's like sweet Afghani. I know that doesn't
Piney.
really say it. Yeah, kind of piney.
it was like gooey pine.
Sweet, like candy before it was called, like before that was a terp profile. It's like sugared almost. Just the amount of resin, sandy heads that would fall off it. When I remember too, like it was an Afghani hash plant. Like it was, it would work for modern solventless, and not only like if that flavor transitions, it's going to be something very novel. The only thing that I was a negative about it was like the blunt or the joint would taste awesome the first half, but the second half, kind of no matter what farm it came from or who grew it, it just started tasting like smoke. So it definitely had like a weak side. So looking through some crosses, I'm going to try to find one that has the terps and has all the positives, but doesn't have the negatives of the. It just got hot halfway down, and no matter whose batch, but like, man, I remember how sandy the resin was, and like I just feel like obligated to explore it for fresh frozen, but. That's one that I'm going to try to like introduce up here. And I don't know how it's going to be responded to, because that's always something different, but I think it's going to be something pretty novel, which I'm stoked on.
100%. I think people are searching for the next something that they haven't experienced before. Like you were just saying, it's new, it's different. It's really challenging as growers, because we're forced to respond to demand that's like, it's kind of a moving target, but also like the timeline of launching something new that's good is way longer than a consumer would anticipate. But it's like,
Do you guys give yourself a timetable, like in business, selling anything else, like a burn rate? Like how much money are you willing to lose to have a strain catch on?
a lot,
How much?
like in dollar value. I guess it depends.
Time value, let's say, like, because you keep a lot of strains around for like a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and at what point is the
I mean, I
space
hadn't-
worth it to try something new?
We hadn't grown the Lash and Kush that you smoked in a year and a half.
And you
It
have
was
the
just
space
laying
to
in
keep
the
it?
library.
Yeah,
That's
just laying.
cool.
And you have the space to keep it, like, because that's what's so interesting to me. Because
Yeah.
I don't grow weed, so I always think about like whenever I know this enough about growing weed though is whenever I go to a micro farm in New York and they have variety, I'm like, they're taking risks. I want to buy all of them, because I almost want to buy the one that's not that good either, because I want to see the variations of their harvest.
Yeah,
and their phenos.
it
you
is
know?
risk
A lot
of
of micros in New York are running their phenos and like putting it on their packaging, and it's an interesting market, dude.
Well, it's so new that people aren't going to call
People
them out on
fucking
it.
do. Blue Dream's by far the most I just bought 20 pounds of Blue Dream. It's
But I
gonna
think
go
that's true everywhere.
fast.
And that's true everywhere.
Most markets.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Across the board?
Yeah. It's just that we're
Jack and Dream and like the ones that most
Green crack.
Yeah, a lot of the ones that like a lot of cannabis people like to, highbrow or like snicker at are like always the top sellers in legal states, which is funny.
Which is not original. Which is funny because you were talking about that, about like when is it going to be like the vape, original, like something new. And like all we've really seen is like people want the sour, haze, all these things like come back around. The vape was like this new way of getting high.
The same as the old days, though. It's like for those to be the biggest selling in all these states, they have to be up there with the largest produced, which I think
That's a
is
good
the
point.
same problem as back then. Like how much Laotian Kush is really going to get out there?
Very little.
It's never going to be the number one SKU in the state like Blue Dream could be. But to me, that's the weakness of that. You have to produce that much of it. And it's always those ones that kind of will work in that production model. So
Blue
like
Dream
then it goes
produces.
to being lack of original. Like I said, even if some of those batches are super dank, like even if a couple of the farms have those genetics dialed, they've been doing them their whole life. It's the best example of Jack or Dream or Green Crack you'll ever see. It just still gets lost in the sauce of like it's everywhere. Whereas the Laotian, if it's a good batch, everyone knows about it. It's gone. It's gone instead of being number one. To me, like that's a better art of war almost.
Yeah, from a business perspective, we've both taken that route, but we're also small operators, right?
Art of war wise,
Yeah.
like even if it could be the big guy, I don't know. I'd rather be the guerrilla
100%
tactics. Almost.
Yeah, I think if you can do both, if you do both, that's really the best hedge. So like somebody really smart told me this has been in the game forever, and I was like talking to him about how we're so focused on just having unique proprietary genetics, and that's really our goal. And he was like, it's great, but if you have no marketing behind it, if you can't make something a thing, sometimes you can shoot yourself in the foot because people just don't know what it is. Yeah. If you can make it a thing, that's best case scenario. He's like, sometimes you just want to ride a wave.
That's what I was asking about the burn rate. You know, like what is the timetable?
Well, like that one's been sitting for a couple of years, but we've grown Gary like every run for 3 years straight, and people love it.
Yeah, Gary rules.
Gary's awesome.
Yeah.
And we had it early, and we rode the whole wave. We're on the back end of that wave, but I keep growing it and it keeps selling and people keep demanding it. So maybe I'll catch when Gary comes back as well.
If you could like catch the trickle down and then all of a sudden it just ramps back up. Yeah, that's
Gary's
that's
good.
the projection that like everyone wishes they could have kind of, I think is what Paulie's asking with like burn rates and projections. It's like, it's a crazy science. It's cool.
100%.
And it's all based off feel too, right? Because it's like you're not gonna make that. That's not a financial decision.
There's no data.
It's not.
There's no data. No.
With weed, dude, like Trav wouldn't have the garlic cookies. That is financially, you shouldn't have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but it's like it's cool, bro. Like it's so cool you do, and like I said, if I, I don't know, man. Like
that's one thing I was going to bring up. I didn't want to interrupt Dylan though. It was just like, even if those ones lay in the cut, like the Laotian, having enough of a library eventually, like it doesn't just happen like that. Like if we just had a start today, it doesn't happen like that. But it's almost like a sports team. Like when you're the new sports team, you don't have every position filled. But once you get the roster, you just wait for
That's
your
right.
draft picks,
Great analogy.
Yeah. And it's like I've had the lemon piff I've only done for personal for maybe 2.5 years now. Like I haven't let out maybe a full unit in 2.5 years. And like, it seems to me, I'm not the best with this anymore. I'm not as tapped in recently. It seems like lemon terps are really good right now.
100%.
Like it seems like they're really good right now. So now all of a sudden I'm draft picking that one that I've held that whole time just to have, even if it's just for my personal food groups. And now all of a sudden that one's drafted up. I've got like full trays of cuts of it for the first time ever. So it's like, I feel like that's a weird part of the art of war as well. It's like if you're always ready for the trend, maybe not right there, but if you could always kind of pop out with at least something in the food group, like you were saying with the garlic. It's like that's the only one I have kind of in that food group. And it's one of the few ones that I have that makes modern hash like the rosin, like actual numbers that are viable. So that one just stays around. To me, it would cost way more to not keep it around. I'd have to do another hunt. Hope I'd get something as good or better that, I already kind of know the rhythm and like its habits. And that takes a lot of time, probably more time than just keep it around.
Yeah. I'll piggyback off that. Something you said, Paulie, was that's a lot of risk. If they're running a lot of different genetics, there's a lot of testing. There's a lot of things couldn't hit. It's a lot of risk in the short term. But I would argue it's less risk in the long term. Because to me, the largest risk is you not having a product which is demanded. And if you aren't continually searching and running a ton of new stuff, because the demand for new, it's on such a short time scale and it's so...
And one is new. You guys are talking about pheno hunting, right? You're not like...
we're testing cuts, right?
But at the same time, it's not like cuts aren't... Someone else could go buy those cuts too.
100%. But there's... It's actually...
Pheno hunting fucking takes forever.
And it costs a lot of money. So this is something I've been thinking about a lot.
But that's how you made the most unique weed.
Correct. This is something I've been thinking about a lot, though, is like, I think that you were like, somebody else might have it. I don't think that really matters that much anymore. And I think all the good cuts are going to they already are. But like, I think that new cuts are going to make it to market quicker and quicker that are found by the community writ large. And pheno hunting, like individually, it's very inefficient. And you're only going to find maybe one thing and two things in a career. I mean, if you look at Travis's, we have, I'd say 2, maybe through genetics that we've hunted out of thousands of seeds that continue to keep around. How many, in your library, what do you have? 2 things that you hunted that are in the lineup?
I only have 1 cutting. Everything I've hunted pretty much.
Congrats.
Except for the PC3.
Congrats.
Everything else is a selection.
Trav won't let no
So-
plants in
That's
his They're not coming from anywhere.
So I don't. And shout out to homie Corey at Weaving Genetics. I was just asking him questions, and I didn't bring
He's
it
the
up.
man.
He only has 1 as well. The wedding cake, I think he has like 1 cut, and the rest are all his. And I didn't even say it to him, but in my mind, I was just laughing. I was like,
I bet you wedding cake makes a comeback by the next podcast.
100%. We're
I-
testing it next round.
I bet you
I
it
wouldn't
does.
say that mine are like would be better than other cuts out there available or winners. But to me, it's just like the different food groups, like I was saying. Like
Yeah, I
even
agree.
if I could have got the lemon tree,
Yeah.
like I got like my twist on it, that works in my garden.
I still
but
haven't seen or smoked that. I would love to.
the lemon piff.
I've never seen it or smoked
It's
it.
super dank.
Yeah.
Mouth coating. To me, it's like a Skittles for adults. Like I always joke about that. Like it's
Yeah.
got the mouth coat. It's got it's
For sure.
better. It's got everything the Z has, but better, and it's got even a little bit better buzz. But
What I want to ask you guys: Do competitions matter?
It depends what kind of brand you're trying to be, I guess. We don't do any competitions. We don't really care that much. We're more about, but we also, have a direct to consumer business. So it's
Right.
a little different. If you're trying to be a wholesale brand, it matters a lot because a lot of stores need a little marketing push behind a high-end product before they can lay out the risk. Basically, they're putting their money
Yeah.
out there to buy it. So I think if you're just a wholesaler, I think it matters a lot.
I think it matters no matter what because it gives it's kind of like how but it's funny because I would say this because of who we're sitting with. You won 2 fucking contests in a row off your most popular strain, right? So it does matter in that way.
In answer to one of your earlier questions that I ghosted, probably the PC3 and the Holy were the best this year, which are the same ones that have
And those both won
that have been the
competitions.
best, which is weird. I have a lot of unique problems, it's that are opposite to most growers, but it's hard for me to branch out and pheno hunt because it's still those 2, but I'm still hunting,
100%.
But
It's
it's
weird.
funny in our world.
and still
'cause-
holding all the food groups, even if that's all. I only need those 2. Like you always say, you're just do that.
And the pineapple piff.
Yeah.
The orange cheese you hunted.
Yeah. That's my
Well done.
that's my favorite plant from seed that I've ever found. And I was thinking that one out in the world, in the wild, might actually hold up compared to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of my stuff, they wouldn't be better than a clone only selection. It's just what I selected out of my hunts, So I feel it's a weird that where I could probably get something better, but I just find my version of it, And sometimes it's very novel like that, that one to me is super special.
Yeah, that one's sick. I cut you off, Paulie.
It's funny because I'm looking at Travis' skateboard over there, right? And I'm thinking of skateboard culture, and I do believe that weed is very similar to skateboarding right now, where it's it's going to be mad popular soon.
Yeah.
Weed will, dude, look out for a weed fashion brand being the next Supreme, and Supreme to skateboarding. People don't even know Supreme is a skateboard company, right? But underground culture prevails, and that's what's going to happen with weed.
Is it underground anymore?
That's my fucking point. And it's getting popular, but my point is about contests and as much as an authentic skateboarder would say, street league doesn't mean shit, but that shit changed the culture.
Yeah.
Right? So someone like Trav,
Yeah.
dude,
I think there's ups,
contest
I
did a
think
lot
there's
for
ups
you.
and downs to it. I've definitely seen an immense positive impact from doing well in them. That's hard to argue with.
it shines light on real
But
shit,
that-
good shit.
That being said, I think there's a big difference between let's say how we grew up just in our era. I'm assuming even though you guys are let's say almost 10 years younger, it's the NBA finals meant something. The World Series, it meant something. It was very well organized. There was umpires the whole way through. There was salary caps. It was as fair as it could be. Corruption was kept to a minimal, and the integrity of the game was there until it wasn't, with steroid shit, let's say that. And I feel cannabis competitions are not that. And that's probably why I probably won't be a part of any of them anymore. It's I want to see them run like that, more than like, it's like one of our disadvantages of the underground and the culture and shit. Like those things are never right. You know, I hear a lot of stuff behind the scenes and it's always like, there's always big wrongs. And I'm sure it's like that in real sports or real events or like the things that I'm giving credit to, but
You're making a very valid point.
It means so much, but it's almost like when Hacksaw Jim Duggan has the title. Like eventually you got to grow out of that shit and realize like, yo, that belt didn't really mean that much, even if it meant the world to me when I was younger and had a smaller view. Like it's not the Stanley Cup. It's the fucking hacksaw belt, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
you know who I think
we're not
it is?
there yet. We're not fucking there yet. And even if it's just lab results, which is like the way to just do numbers, even that kind of isn't the business because we know that isn't a direct correlation. Like there's, I don't know.
I think it's about end consumers.
I was going to say
the
that.
people.
Yeah,
I think
The
it's
streets
eighth
vote.
buyers.
Yeah.
I had two thoughts about that.
And we got to listen to them.
Yeah, 100%. One
Kids.
is what you're saying is like the end consumer, in my opinion, is like pretty confused because there's a lot of information out there. And especially when you think about like a broader market of people who maybe aren't as experienced. Like you look at 20 weed mask menus, you're just like, what the fuck? Like what is good, what isn't, and why not? So a third party verification of something being legit is really like something that is kind of needed because otherwise you just have to go buy from like 20 different dispensaries or growers before you figure out which one really works for you.
Yep.
So there's that element of it.
Really good point.
And then the other element is just like the World Series wasn't the first baseball competition. It took them 50 years to put that together. Yeah. Previously it was some regional
In that era, though.
hacksaw bullshit in the 1860s or whatever.
That's a good point.
But I bet it was a little rugged in the late 1800s or whatever when they started baseball. But we're in this new infancy, and that's why I was talking about the skateboarding. Where like it's a good one to base off of like the last 15 years. I'm telling you, a fashion brand will be a weed brand. It will be a very popular one, just like
LRG.
Supreme.
There you go. It already happened.
Yeah, but I bet you will come back around. Like the weed market to me is like, I like and I'm excited about more people smoking and more people learning the shit and it's all based off of, to me, storytelling and authenticity that comes from the shit that we said that I would spend all the money on to get back. And we all come from really cool places in this post-prohibition thing. That's what the brands are. That's what's exciting to me. That's what's cool about seeing him and seeing what he has, seeing what you with your team and what you guys have. It's all unique, and there's so many lanes, and I think it's like unlimited right now. I think it's so untapped. I mean, I went on a mass scale. I think so.
Yeah. I like what you're saying about the brands. I agree because my thought on what a brand is at its core is a promise from a producer to a consumer. And then the equity in that brand is how well you fulfill that promise, right?
That's very G.
And right now, there's
We'll have to shove that on the epilogue of Trav's quote book. One from Dylan. You got one in there.
I'm here to soak it up. I'm not here to sweat it out.
After many L's, finally got one in the epilogue.
I said that before I came here. I was like, I'm here to soak up game from the next gen. I was like, I'm not trying to sweat out or spit out too much.
Oh, wise one.
Because I was talking to Beef. He hit me up on the way over just by chance, and he's like, yo, get on there and spit some game. I was like, I'm soaking it, man. I was like, I think at this point, it's funny you say that when you brought up Shawnee before. At a certain point, he knew the street fashion more than me. Like there was a changing of the guards where let's say like he was soaking up my game for a long, long time. I remember all of a sudden I was like, damn, that shit's fucking dope. I would never have thought of that. Like
me and Shawnee used to go in the basement and pick up floor scraps to blaze.
I'm almost correlating that with like on my way here. I never really thought that where it's like, you know, how you keep kind of saying like correlating fashion or skating and all this. I was like, yeah, the young homies know like the fashion trends or like know that. Like I'm looking to them for the next outfit. Like you were saying the Terp, I was like, I want to ask him. Like, do you know what?
Lemon Terps are hot, right?
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Please be good.
I've heard lemon was.
Right?
I got a room full of lemon.
To me, I'm still looking for the untasted. Like if you've never had Afgoo, I want that.
100%. Yeah.
You know, even if it doesn't last, but I know it's dank.
I wonder what's going to be new though, because like I hope something in the next year, like when we come back on here, there's some. Let's try to remember this of like some way of smoking, like if it's hash rosin or like a vape, something new like that.
Yeah.
Because like there's dope strains, there's dope, but like you're making me feel nostalgic about that vape. And like it's dude, you know what's fucked up? I'm just a fucker. But like I kind of like want that burn again. Like if there was a cloth vape right here, which is definitely like not out there.
That's so weird.
I hope it's not. I just want it. Sorry, dude.
They tasted good.
It was Girl Scout cookie oil, bro.
That paired with certain teas, like I remember chamomile one. Like if you held the hit in, and like I was treating like tea like a drug combo.
It was
with
good
those
hardware
vapes.
though. Those things worked.
The mouthfeel from those things, like that cookie clear, they called it.
They called it the clear.
Something was going on. They were putting some good chemical in there. It like made your taste buds. I don't know if this was early like terp introducing, but like there was something like it made tea taste better as you were smoking.
I like
it was
that.
fucking like made your taste buds just go on fire. It was crazy.
You were saying, did you watch the podcast with me and Tommy and those two dudes from the Growers
Most
Cup?
of that one. I don't think
Did
I
you hear
finished
us
it,
talk
most
about
of it.
when Tommy was up in spot and
Yes.
Don't worry, we'll blur out the name. But on the mountains.
Yeah,
And
you
he
did
would-
that the same on the other one. We'll blur out the name.
That's another discussion. We'll talk off air. I don't know if I should or not. But
Shout out to the blurred name. He was the homie who showed me bubble bags in 02. To me, that's like an epic thing that I can like always have to give homie credit for all the ill shit he does now. I was like, yo, he was way ahead of the curve on that.
That's
Like,
sick.
We got to
Wait, tell that story.
So homie from NorCal essentially was in our hometown certain times, like for certain stretches. So he pretty much became a local. When he knew I had fresh herb, he's like, this is what you do with the trim and stuff. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
which is funny because he was the under people of the people we're talking about, the clear. They were like, he introduced, like, that was the under guy.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about stuff from New York or whatever. And for the Cali, it was like the plug. He was the one under and he'd come back to see us.
Dope.
And
it was crazy. 02, like you guys must have been young because I was so young then. It was crazy.
11.
And we were, exactly. We were living in like a warehouse type of fare, not much different than this. When I was skating around before,
That was when you were in New
this is
Haven?
big warehouse vibes, and we just got the bubble bag sent right there. We were cranking it out immediately. Like it was crazy shit. Like that was some of the biggest game ever. Like yo, we could make fucking hash. It's hard to describe that
I love
lightning
bubble.
bolt.
I
It
also
didn't
smoke
seem
blunts, though.
real.
It's like those things burn so good when you break it up in a blunt, like good bubble.
Totally.
You know? But my point is in that podcast, I didn't know this. I found that out live. Because Tommy works with us full time now. And he was in the garden at these guys grow, and he was seeing these big colas. And he's like, I haven't seen big colas since the White Rhino that I was with you, Paul, in Santa Cruz. He didn't even know. And then I told him, I was like, do you know who that is now? He's like a super famous fucking weed person. But I didn't know he was growing. I thought that was cookies that they were. Do you remember what they were growing in there that we were trimming? Because you were trimming with us. Do you remember?
I think it was
I thought it was cookies.
I think it was the confidential cheese. The one round where there was some bud rot.
Yes.
And there was a lot of the homies there. Like a
I
lot
saw
of
a
the
lot of
South
that,
Bay fucking
sadly.
homies were there.
Yes.
There was a lot of confidential cheese. That was the
Really?
fucking my cut. Yeah.
Do you know about that strain?
I heard stories.
Dude,
That was
around?
there was I think 2 or 3.
That and the white. That
there was
the
2
shit.
or
Yeah,
3
Trav always
different ones in that round, but I think a lot of it was the confit cheese. And it was the version, that one had a lot of plasticity.
Remember where was
that
the
round it perped out. It probably had big temp swings, which is why the mold came in. But I remember if it was the round you were talking about, remember I did a big ass pot of sauce for everyone, I think.
Yeah,
Maybe it was that
you used to
time.
do that a lot. Dude, Trav used to make stew.
But up on the mountain, that was like one of the only times I think I brought all the ingredients up the hill, and I was just like, yo, we're doing this shit. Like, it takes all day, but like, we're eating later. That couldn't compute to a lot of the West Coast. Mine's like, wait, we're eating that tonight?
Dude, he showed.
It's
Dude,
like, yo, don't fuck with it. Like, it's just sitting there.
dude, shout out to him though, because like I'm even thinking about it live on here. Like, you know, I'm gonna try to reach out to him, see if he would like do something. Because just like I was saying with
probably
you,
mad
he
at
put
you.
me- maybe I don't know. You've been mad at me. People have been mad at me. So I'm
mad at you right now.
I made a lot of mistakes, dude. I've made mistakes. All right. But these days, you know, I've learned a lot, and that's what I like doing this shit because of that. Like, it's honestly like kind of like a little therapy for me. You know, it's fun. But even with him, it's like he put me on to a lot of shit. He was the only reason that those pens were around.
Yeah.
You know, just building bridges.
Wait,
and shit.
same guy that taught you how to make the bubble?
It's
Was the first guy
NorCal
with the
Nemo.
pens?
Do you know who NorCal Nemo is?
Some like heady brand out west.
Yeah, he's like the guy who sells like fucking $1,000 ounces or
Sick.
something.
Oh,
Of flour.
yeah. Obviously, he's been ahead of the game. He's still ahead of the game.
I think he still does it. I think he still gets $1,000 ounces.
I think so too.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
How's that make you feel?
I'm gonna have to smoke it somehow.
I don't know.
I don't have that much money.
I have a couple
that
times.
much
It's
money.
smoking.
Really?
It's great. It's I don't
Is it OG?
Most of it's his own selections or own creations, I think.
But is it OG gassy?
No. The last time I had like a little sample pack from Ronnie, like it was.
It's funny what things like I'm like.
It was a lot of Z stuff,
There's good weed everywhere.
but no, not too much like Kush or shit like that. No.
I can't believe people spend that much money on weed.
Well, why not?
I don't know. I mean, I spent $60 an eighth on weed, but like anything more, like $80 on an eighth of weed is tough.
Yeah, but you
I
don't
think.
have like
I don't know.
you don't have a big bankroll. If somebody,
Yeah.
you spending $100 on an eighth to another person might be them spending $1,000.
Right.
They just
Yeah.
it's the same
Especially in
proportion
Los
of your
Angeles
bankroll.
County or like
Yeah,
lots of
yeah.
different places, where there's just like too much bread, even though it might be an overall like poor state. Like some people just have too much bread. They
you
need
think-
need zips that expensive.
Do you think there's better weed flour in Maine than California right now?
On the market, maybe yes. Head stash, I think it's crazy for anyone to think that California has anything but the best when it comes to like what they're smoking. But like I could be wrong,
Flip it.
I could put it this way. I know Spotless is doing his thing.
Word.
I know it's smoking. Last time I was out there, so it's like, is that
That makes me so happy, by the way. Sidebar, that makes me
Hell
warm
yeah.
inside.
So
That's amazing.
Was his better than like a lot of like what I would see out here? Maybe not, but it's definitely as good. And like, that's just one small piece of the puzzle. But I feel like people that have been doing it, that do it at least for themselves and maybe like not on a huge scale, it's crazy to not bet on California having the best.
You think I could do a Maine versus
But as far as a
California
market, like
competition?
what you could go to a store and
Probably.
get affordable quality, Maine has them fucking ass kicked.
I think Maine. I do. I mean, I've been to Maine recently more than I've been to Cali, but I have also had time there and I've smoked really good weed. I just wonder what it is now. It'd be tough to compete against Maine. I used to think 3 years ago that Rhode Island competed with Maine, and that has just kiboshed in the last couple of years.
Really?
Yeah, Rhode Island. I mean, they pushed out all of the medical underground guys that were crushing it. Like you've seen some of this, like that headband, like that. I don't think that guy grows weed anymore. Yeah.
That's how, like before, when we were saying the conglomerates, or like if people just fall out.
I
that's
still
where
have
the
some. It's
diversity
18
goes.
months old.
Yeah,
And
but that's when the diversity dissolves away.
See, that strain is like round outside, but when I break it open, nothing has changed. It's loud as fuck, and it's sour.
It smokes. Yeah,
Crazy. And but yeah, I would love to do a California Maine competition. I don't know how you would do that though. How would you do that?
I don't know.
You don't like
There's-
competitions. I feel like I hit a nerve there. What you said about competitions was game. For real. Because you are right. It's like, it's not, to compare it to like Street League or like if you were an up and coming industry and you wanted to professionalize it, the contests are not doing a good job. Can we name one that we'd be proud of? Like if it was the fucking MLB, like he's saying? I don't think so. Like we're far from.
They do,
And what would it be? Would it be like something bracket wise, like basketball, like March Madness?
Right.
Like what?
I hear what you're saying too, because people do need some sort of direction. Like this is good, and if it wins something, it's like very easily it's good. There was a point in the market where it was easy as it's being purple. Like 20 years ago, that simple visual indicator, like when you say the Beaster era, the Dro and the Brick, all of a sudden when there was perps, it was such an easy visual indicator that quality was just instantly associated with it. A higher price was associated with it, just everything.
Candy did the same
Now it's
thing.
so hard because everything looks like that and everything's kind of good. And there's degrees of nuances where you say you almost need more. People need more of a direction to find the dank.
But what's a funny thing about that though? It's like you're sitting on this couch today, proud to be a Haze man, and you can never run from it. Even though we say we were cookies and all that stuff, you could sit on that. Contest had something to do with that. But think of how many people must hate that weed.
Yeah.
And that's like an interesting fact.
Oh yeah, so like what
Yeah.
defines quality? Like is there an objective measure of quality?
Trav has his lane, and trust me, I like It would, like I was telling you about, like the 4 different strains, like cheese and that, you know.
Yeah.
You cannot if you're getting a variety pack from Lobster, you're getting piffs in it if it's there.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Or people hate it and they'll never fucking smoke it. You know
I'd
what I
say
mean?
That
Yeah,
goes
So it's
to like the small cult part of the niche culture that is that type of smoker, though. You know?
Yeah, it's like 1% of 1%.
If it
That's
goes,
like
if it
people-
goes to
nerd shit,
fanatic,
you know?
like I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's just different, you know. It's probably the least amount of percentage, like you say, but the level of amp, maybe.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe. Like,
why?
it,
I know exactly what
it
you're saying.
offsets weird.
Well,
Why?
it's a tiny cult following.
Because it's
a tiny cult
The
following.
1%.
devout, like totally amped. Some people only smoke that. It's almost like a whole different drug. It's like
Yeah.
I don't smoke weed, but I smoke that. Like, I
Yeah, it's
smoke
the
eight,
funny thing,
you
man.
know?
Like you're not like balling out of control, but like you do well, and that has a lot to do with it from that 1%. I feel like I've gotten that with blunts in the legal market because no one sells blunts for $10 in the legal market. Why would they? Because it's such a small amount. I live off that shit. I don't make shit tons of money, but I can't believe I'm making any money.
Well, yeah, I mean, these are also small businesses. We're talking about like,
We're small
sub
businesses.
10 employee businesses.
Yeah.
So like, you couldn't have there's only so much market for that, right? Like this is just hyper niche, and same with the blunts. Like, I mean, that's
But
a
wouldn't
little,
you
it's a little
say
larger.
weed is still hyper niche in the fucking country?
No, I
It's
think
still
like 60%
illegal.
of people consume.
I think that
More
I
people
think-
consume weed on a weekly basis
growing,
than consume alcohol.
But how
I
much
mean,
has
how is-
that
that's
grown in
not
the last
niche.
4 years?
I mean,
A lot.
Or it's hard to say because people had an incentive to lie on a survey previously. So now you're probably it could be that we're just revealing that
All
people
right,
always
so
did.
let's not fuck a survey. We've all been selling weed for fucking 5 years. Haven't we all made more money
Yeah, I
every
mean,
year?
there's more. Yeah, it's hard to say. There's
And what were the down? I had
think
downtimes
the type
before
of
COVID.
product
Yeah,
it is just makes it so unique. Like when we say these things like cannabis community, I feel what it really means is like a shared headspace, which is so unique. Like it's not like what music you like or what phone service or what, gasoline or grocery store or all these other things where a lot of our income goes out. Like all 5 of us in the room right now are kind of all in our own head, but we're still all very much all on the same wavelength.
Hell yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like whether it be people just acknowledging that on the survey or there actually being a huge rise in consumers, I feel like it's something very special that almost keeps it underground, even if it's at the kitchen table, because it's still something that's so hard to quantify. It's not like how you say like skating, where it's still kind of interpretive art. The headspace is just so different. We're talking psychology and like I don't know where I'm going with this, but I just think it's such a unique product. It's like pharmaceuticals, but it's like
What's the biggest difference
fun-
between
I don't
skateboarding
know.
and weed, though? Skateboarding is legal,
weed's legal now
right?
too, though.
Yeah, kind of. But wasn't skateboard kind of illegal too? Because like you get
That's
kicked,
true.
what was the getting kicked
Yeah,
out?
but-
It's on that borderline. That's culture.
But
And
it-
he's talking about community, and that will become more popular. And guess what's
But
going to be
it's-
the biggest
but there
beacon
was
of it being
levels
more
of
popular?
underground back then too, because
legalization.
back then skaters would go skate on the town hall and cannabis advocates would go smoke weed on the lawn on the town hall, which still aren't
Same
legal.
shit. Isn't that like the
it's
same
still
thing?
not legal. I feel there's just more respect now in both those communities. Like the underground is still there. It's just not as rebellious. Like skaters used to go
Because it got more popular?
This is more like access, like you say. Like we don't have to be at the Augusta town hall smoking joints on their property to prove a point. We
Right.
could do it in the comfort of our own home now.
We
The
do
same as
a
most
lot.
skateboarders have a skate park or have a sanctioned area. They have access. They don't have to go destroy the local town hall to make a point. We're out here. We exist. Recognize us and do something about it. So.
It's kind of what we've done in the weed world too, though. Like even what we do in New York and what you guys do in Maine, it's very state driven, obviously, because it's state legalizations, right? Or like state rules. So that's what's so interesting about like different. It's like different pockets of culture. Like I was away. I mean, I was up in Maine a lot before, right? Now I don't because I do a different thing in New York. I'm there a lot. It's not that far from each other, and we are in the same wavelength. But like I learned so much today.
Yeah,
like,
there's still core.
as a consumer of weed.
yeah.
I want to know what you guys think. I want you guys to expand a little more on that. As like cannabis, like I always hear it like compared to like how you've called it like a commodity agriculture product, which even if it is, Like nothing else like that is psychoactive.
Well, yeah, there is alcohol, coffee. These are.
I feel like I was just thinking those maybe, but their effects are so one-dimensional. Where it's like, you know, like maybe there's slight nuances between like tequila and wine, and maybe some people are more happy drunks or angry drunks, but it's not as nuanced as the heads
Sure.
of cannabis.
also-
But
yeah,
I think they do correlate
all those
close
things are
enough,
legal.
maybe like you say. But
What's that?
All those things are legal besides weed. Every single one.
Yeah. Wait. What was
More
the question
accessible.
though, Trav? What's the question exactly? Like, what do you want me to expand on?
the fact that it's that it's psychoactive. And like that as the core of it always being underground kinda, which I guess like even a cafe or a bar kinda still is. There's a culture to that. You go to the coffee house, there's like probably familiar faces and familiar conversations, the same as a bar. But like can is kind of different because it's not as social, but I don't know where I want expansion. Just add it as a product.
I have a couple thoughts. I have a couple thoughts. For one, I think you're like something psychoactive is never. It's different because it's psychoactive, but like there's always been psychoactive products on the market. Humans have always done them, and like even when what we think
in
now,
the hands of folks like us, maybe.
yeah, but listen. So with like you mentioned like. Well, coffee, yeah, but like that's mainstream. There's a coffee house, there's a culture to it, but it wasn't always. So like when coffee first made it to like the Near East and Europe, right? They
sparked the Renaissance.
Listen. You can look this shit up.
It's a history podcast.
Like everywhere I went, it was banned. Like so, the Ottomans banned it immediately because what doesn't a dictator want? They don't want people gathering with a lot of energy, talking to all the other farmers that probably never interacted previously, talking about stuff because like there's some subversive shit that's going to come up from that.
Yeah, ideas.
When it first got to the UK, coffee, there were these coffee shops, and they became the original stock markets in these cafes. It was like where all the vice was going down in the UK, and like the shit was getting banned back then. Coffee, we're talking about coffee. I know it's like mainstream now, but like when you're like, but this is different because it wasn't mainstream. Like, yeah, none of this shit was mainstream except for alcohol. It's just been a part of human existence for tens of thousands of years. Yeah. So
more accessible.
What's that?
All these things than weed.
Yes.
More so that their effects are kind of one-dimensional, I would say as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Like as much as it being prohibited. You know, I feel like there's just such an array of cannabis where it's like we're all kind of the same jacked up at the cafe, even if we all get very different drinks.
Fair, yeah.
Whereas,
but there's coffee snobs, my brother. You know people that can't go to Willoughby's. I talk to old people about that. I said that in my CBD store. They were like, "That's a great example, right? Go to the certain coffee."
Yeah, cafes are crazy. You know, like there's culture to them.
Yeah, 100%. But I guess my point was like, yeah,
I see what you're saying in a way.
I'm saying there's more similarities than you might think.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
no, yeah, you're definitely have my mind clicking in ways I wasn't expecting.
And we're just in this moment where we're thinking like, oh,
it's thought-provoking, psychoactive, and that's kind of the same rebellious nature of cannabis.
Yeah,
it's like so
100%.
Definitely.
Coffee is that though. You go to a coffee shop, people are looking pretty rebellious in that.
I definitely
fucking.
When I go in the coffee shop,
it's full of bikers and fist fighters.
Exactly.
Like, I see what you're saying.
But
it's not totally unique. It's just maybe
just like a
little more
bar,
nuanced.
Yeah, or it's just a different. It's like
the skate park.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like the quote like. History doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme.
But what's the community element of cannabis?
I think
Seshes?
What's that?
Seshes?
No, I think
and
it was
that's kind of going back to that street league thing and like MLB.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the place? What is the brand? You know, we all have individual sessions, and that's why we love weed. Like at our homes, playing video game, everyone calls it like the enhancer, right? Like people smoke weed before they do things together. That's fucking cool.
100%.
You know?
Yeah, I would say like where
same with coffee and all these things though too.
It's true. All the culture I grew up in, definitely weed was a very social thing. Like at some point I realized I'm like, why do I love weed so much? And like it was honestly because it was like a great thing to do with people.
Yeah.
So like it was like, oh, you guys all want to, you know, throw in, smoke it now. And that was like, you know, we're teenagers and that was a social thing. And then we go skate or do whatever we do. But like, I think that is to me what you're asking, which is like, what is the culture of weed, or why is weed community driven?
And it's changed so much in 25 years for me.
Really?
You know what I mean? And I haven't even been in it 25 years. But like, just from history and like, the culture of it, it's changed a lot in 25 years. You've been in it 20 years. Like, how much has it changed? A fuck ton. Was there gaps? Do you look at it quarterly? Do you look at it yearly?
Tons. It was a day-to-day struggle at one point, like an event, like once drought stretched on, it was weird back then to have a clear head for so many days in a row. It's like all of a sudden it's like, yeah, life really changed.
Dylan, he's tapping out. Dude, sick pizza box. We can end it here if you want. We've crushed you guys. This is great. I'm going to be able to look at this podcast and next year reflect on it. That's what I really wanted to do.
Sorry.
It's all right. You're on the grind. You guys don't have as much time, and I appreciate you taking the time to politic and shit. It's fun. Year in review, gentlemen.
It's been a pleasure.
It's gonna be interesting to watch this, and then as a New Year's Day podcast, and then like I'm gonna go back to it.
Hell yeah.
Be interesting.
Thanks for coming out. Missed you.
Absolutely. I miss you guys too. I miss your weed just as much, if not more. 2026. Thank you for coming on the podcast. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.